we go, we have another Roberts R250. This one's going to be a little different. The radio in it actually works. I've already taken the radio out of there because I'm going to strip the casing down and I'm going to recolour the case and possibly the grille as well. The grille there's got some damage on it. I'll see if I can address that as well. But for stripping these down, for recovering or repainting or whatever you want to do, relatively simple, he says on camera. So that's what we're going to do. As I say, taking the radio out, you've seen me take radios out of these cases a number of times before. So what I need for the moment is my spudger, just to put underneath the catches. I'm just going to lever those upwards. They're just fitted on with tiny brass nails. The spudger underneath, just lever them upwards just to create a little gap behind. I'm not going to force them off with the spudger, but you've got two sides obviously to the catch. Just go from the inside and actually fit that, try and fit that underneath. As I say, when you're doing these things on camera, it never goes really well, does it? There we go. So I've managed to lever that forwards as well. And then what you need is a plastic tool or some sort of tool that's not going to damage the finish. Got a nice plastic screwdriver, and then just pop those off. As I say, they're just on tiny brass nails. There we go. And pop them on one side. Same with the other one. I'll try not to talk too much through this, and I'll try not to say as much. I've noticed I say quite a lot. That's that one off. And again, with the trim that goes all the way around the front and the back of the radio, those need to come off as well. Now, sometimes I can get the spudger in there, but sometimes I can't. And for those moments when I can't, I have a teeny tiny screwdriver with a sharpened blade. I've sharpened this on my sharpening wheel, just because it's much easier to get at the, again, they're held in with those little tiny brass pins or nails, and just lever them upwards, and those will come out as well. Those really are tiny. There's one. I'll do the other one at the same time. Just get underneath the head of the pin and lift it up, and then you can withdraw the trim all the way around the radio. That's the trim off, popped on one side. Exactly the same again with the other one. You get underneath the head of the pin and lift the pin up. Withdraw the pin, pop it on one side, the second pin, just withdraw the trim the whole way around. Right, it's the same with the feet. The feet really are held on with pins. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. You know, the rubber feet on the bottom, obviously 4 of them. Get the spudger underneath and lever them, just so you can create a gap, and then you can get a different tool in underneath to actually lift them up and withdraw them from the radio. Not always the simplest of tasks, and what I sometimes resort to with this is using the sharpened small screwdriver just to get to the the head of the pin that's underneath. This one's proving particularly tricky, so we're going to use an even bigger screwdriver. There we go, that's one out. If I show you the pin, it's not specifically a nail, it's just a metal pin, and they are just pressure fitted inside. They're not glued in, screwed in, fastened in from the other side. They are just pressure fitted. There's another one. Obviously when you're recovering these things, to do it properly, everything has to come off, and that's what we're getting towards now. Just got that other foot off, and the last one, try and get this so you can actually see what's happening, and just lift up the head of the pin. These are in quite snugly, which they would be because I'm doing a video. There we go, popped up, just lift out, withdraw, pop it on one side. The Roberts logo. If you open up the back door, just inside you can see the two pins there at the top. They're not actually pins, they are plastic, and they've been pushed through the hole and then melted. You know, the plastic's been melted on the other side to create a blob, and the only way really is to push them from this side, the small implement, push each one through and just work it from side to side, and the logo will drop off at the other side. So that's that one done. We need to take off the power socket. Two crosshead screws. That removes then the jack from the other side, but this plate also needs to come off, and again just a lever and it will slide off. Sometimes I found that these have fixed on with the adhesive that they've used for covering these radios with, and they're a little bit more tricky to remove. And we'll also remove the hinge. These are 8 brass screws. Supporting the door so it doesn't create any problems for putting the door back on later. And that's the door off. We'll carry on with the door and just remove the hinge completely. Once I've stripped this, I'm not actually going to show you what I'm doing to cover this. You're just going to get to see the end result. And the reason that I'm doing this in the first place is this used to be a pale blue, you know, the kind of baby blue colour, but over the years it's become discoloured. I'll try and show you what I mean, because the inside of the door's the right colour and the outside of the radio's a different colour. It's kind of yellow. This is kind of yellowy, and this is really nice light blue. It's not going to stay light blue, so for all you light blue R250 lovers out there, I apologise. What we can do next is take this battery power lead off, is get the 5.5mm nut spinner, and remove the speaker plate. No need to remove the actual speaker. Lost the nut inside again, as usually happens, as we've found out. We'll tease those back out later. There's one. Two, three. The speaker plate is fitted in just with 4 nuts. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and once you've removed those, you can just pull the speaker plate out. I usually remove the grill. And that came off nice and easy, completely different to the one I took to pieces the other day on the speed test. That was absolutely jammed on. Now, what I do need to do is get out my vise and pop it on the side of here, because the handle is fitted on with circlips and we need to knock the pin out rather than lever the circlip up. We need to knock the pin through the case. That way we can reuse the circlip. Now, there's a couple of methods that I use for this, and I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to do today, but it does involve a hammer. Just looking for what I will do is grab the hammer and put an old screwdriver on the end of the case and start to tap it through. This isn't going to go well, I can see this because I'm doing it on video. Different screwdriver. The Weira drivers are quite forgiving. Just one through. An extra little bit of help, so I'll use a smaller driver for that, because I have splayed the end over slightly. There we go. And remove the circlip. That's one side of the handle out, and do the same with the other side. Just need to remove this side plate from the other side that I haven't removed. Again, the joys of doing these things on video. And then we'll pop that down on that side. And this vise is great. I've had a couple of different ones throughout my life. The last one was a branded Wolfcraft, but eventually it gave up the ghost. There we go. That's the other circlip removed, and the handle's already fallen straight the way through, so we can pop the handle on one side as well. And that is that side of the case ready almost for cleaning and either covering or painting. I won't tell you, like I say, what I'm going to do with this one, but suffice to say it will look an awful lot different when I'm finished. The last thing is the rubber sticker. Now you can, if you can get a fingernail under the edge, you can just do this by just peeling it off really gently. But the adhesive is quite good. So what I tend to do is heat it up first. So I've got a heat gun. I'll just heat it up just to melt the adhesive a little bit, and that makes it easier to peel the sticker off. It only needs a moment of heat, really. And there we have the Roberts label. Stick that on my bench for later. There we go. So that is that completely stripped and ready for cleaning and covering or painting. There we go. So I'm going to pause there and I'm going to come back to you when it's done. See you soon.